Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to learn the two vital functions of management. One is planning, the other one is controlling. We will discuss the importance of planning and controlling and the interrelationship between planning and controlling. Before we come to know the interrelationship between planning and controlling, we should know the meaning of planning and controlling. What do we mean by planning? Planning means to think something before we do. Before doing something, the process of thinking is known as planning. So how do we plan? How managers plan for the organizations? Business environment is not static, it is dynamic. So the first and most important thing is to scan the business environment very carefully. Each and every manager has to study the environment, forecast the future, need to know the predictions, need to do the predictions for the future that may happen. Environment provides us with opportunities and threats. It's the vital for the managers to convert the opportunities, to convert the threats into opportunities and to grab the opportunities before they go into the hands of the competitors. So what do we mean by planning? Planning means forecasting. Planning means thinking before doing. Planning means setting goals, targets and objectives and finding out the ways and means how to achieve the goals and targets. Now coming to the point, controlling. What do we mean by controlling? Controlling is the last and the most vital function of management. Controlling function means after the goals has been set, the work has been done, controlling function comes at the last. It is basically the post-mortem of the past activities. Whatever goals we have set before, controlling function checks whether the goal has been achieved successfully or not. If the goal is not achieved successfully, it is the vital function of controlling to find out the ways and means, the reasons why the goal or the standard cannot be reached. What are the reasons for which there is a deviation? Deviation can be positive, can be negative, but we are very much concentrated on the negative deviation. That is, if standard set is not achieved, if the actual performance is lower than the actual standard or the standard which was set earlier. This is known as control. Planning and controlling are known as inseparable twins of management. Planning is meaningless without controlling. Controlling is blind without planning. We have made the plan, but if there is no measure to control, if there is no measure to understand whether the goals or the targets which we have made in the planning state, whether we have actually achieved it or not, that is checked in the controlling function. So if controlling function is absent, planning is meaningless. Similarly, if planning is not there, controlling does not exist. So controlling is blind without planning. Both planning and controlling are forward as well as backward looking function. Why planning is a forward looking function? Because when we plan, we forecast the future. We peep into the future. We look into the future and we make plan. That's why planning is known as forward looking function. Why controlling is a backward looking function? Because controlling function comes at the end. When every activities, all the functions are over, controlling functions check whether the goals and the targets which we have set in the planning stage has been achieved or not. So controlling is post-mortem of the past activities. That's why controlling is known as backward looking function. Now, why controlling is a forward looking function? because controlling helps. Controlling is a function which finds out deviation. What do we mean by deviation? Deviation means the target set and the actual performance achieved. The difference between the goals set or the standard set and the actual performance. The difference between the two is known as deviation, which is detected in the controlling stage. So controlling function is known as forward-looking function because whatever mistakes, whatever the reasons are there for which the actual goals and standards cannot be met are detected in the controlling stage, and controlling helps in making a better future plans. Similarly, planning is also forward as well as backward looking function. We have already discussed why planning is a forward looking function. Now we are going to discuss why planning is a backward looking function. Planning is a backward looking function. The basic reason behind that is that while we make future plans, while we make plans for the future, we need to check, we need to look into our past activities. We always refer to our past experiences while we make future plans. So whatever mistakes we have done in past, that should not be repeated in our future plans. So in order to make a better future plan, we always refer to our past goals. We will discuss the features of controlling. You will mark in your book, in the first page of the controlling, there are 3 features clearly given in your book. Point number 1, just underline the key word in your book, goal-oriented process. Second feature which is already given in your book is pervasive function. And the third feature which is given in your book is forward and backward looking function. Though we have already discussed before why controlling and why planning both are forward and backward looking function. Now we will discuss the first feature of controlling, that is, controlling is a goal-oriented process. What do we mean by goal-oriented process? Goal-oriented process means in the planning stage, the goal, the target, the standard has already been fixed. In the organizing stage, we create department, we allocate resources to the departments. In the staffing stage or in the staffing function, right man has been placed in the right job, and directing is the function which puts all this effort into action, which basically initiates the efforts into action. And what controlling does? Controlling checks whether the resources are used optimally, whether the organization is able to achieve its goal successfully or not. Whatever goals or targets were set in the planning stage, whether that goal or target has been successfully achieved or not, that controlling checks. Whether there is any deviation between the goal set and the actual performance of the organization. So controlling helps in optimum utilization of resources and helps in minimal duplication of work, avoiding wastage of resources and completion of work on time, efficiently, effectively to achieve organizational goals. Coming to the second feature of controlling, which is known as controlling is a pervasive functions. We know all the functions of management are pervasive in nature. Controlling is not only pervasive, it's a continuous process also. Because these are not one-time activity. We have made a plan, we have to achieve our goals. Once we have met the standard goals, once that goal or standard is achieved, our next moment, the next work is to set the next goal or standard for the organization. organization. Again, the entire functions of management continues. Again, we reach the controlling stage where we check the deviation, we find out the ways and means or the reasons for deviation and take corrective measures, corrective actions to minimize the deviations. Once that is done, again we make a future further plan for the organization and the cycle continues. That's why it is known as continuous process of the organization. Now, why controlling is a pervasive function? Pervasive means controlling is applicable everywhere. Every levels of organization and in every types of organization, controlling function is needed. Whether it is a small scale organization, large scale organization, private, public, government, whatever sort of organization, whatever is the size or scale of operations, controlling function is needed. And controlling function is needed for every levels of management. And the last and the most vital feature of controlling is a forward and backward looking function. Backward looking, why? Because it is the last function of management where we check whether the plans or the goals or the standards which were set, we compare that goals and standards with our actual performance. We find out the deviations. We try to find out or analyze the reasons for the deviations and take actual steps in order to minimize the deviations. That's why it's a post-mortem of past activities, the activity which has already been done, post-mortem of those activities. That's why controlling is a backward-looking function. But why it's a forward-looking function? Because the mistakes or the reasons why we could not achieve the target. Maybe the standard which was set that was too high. Maybe there is change in environmental factors. Maybe the machineries, tools, equipments of the organizations need to be modernized, need to be more effective. So whatever the reasons for which we could not achieve our target, these mistakes should not be there, should not be repeated in your future plan. That's why controlling is a forward-looking function, because it helps to minimize the future, helps to minimize error in our future plan. Is that clear to all of you? So what we have learned today, we have learned the meaning of planning, meaning of controlling. We have learned the relationship between planning and controlling, where you have marked in your book three vital importance or three vital interrelationship between planning and controlling. Number one is planning and controlling are inseparable twins of management. That's the first and the most important interrelationship between planning and controlling. Second point, we have learned that planning and controlling both are forward and backward looking function. And the third interrelationship which we have learned, that planning is prescriptive but controlling is evaluative. Why controlling is evaluative? Because evaluation is done, measurement is done, whether we are deviating from our standard or not. What is our actual performance? What is the standard? The difference is judged, it's evaluated in the controlling stage. And planning is prescriptive, their goals and standards are set, which the organization needs to achieve. So these are the three interrelationship between planning and controlling, which we have discussed and marked in details in the book. Thirdly, what we have discussed are the three features of controlling, which is controlling is pervasive and continuous process, controlling is a forward and backward looking function, and controlling is a goal oriented process. In the next class, what we will discuss is the importance of controlling and the steps of controlling process. Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you.